It was an efficient and relentless win for Washington over UC Davis, 70-10 at home. It keeps the home win streak alive at 22 games, and Washington is 2-0 heading into its first bye week of the season. And just like last week, running back Jonah Coleman is the story of this game. On 15 carries, he scored 5 touchdowns with 111 rushing yards and a 7.5-yard average. He also caught a pass out of the backfield for 24 yards, and right now there's a legitimate case that Coleman should be considered the frontrunner for the Heisman Trophy. He's leading the nation in rushing touchdowns with 7 after just 2 weeks. He's also the nation's frontrunner in yards after contact. 230 of his 288 total rushing yards have come after contact. He's averaging 5.9 yards after contact per rush. He's forced 11 missed tackles, and he leads the country in rushing attempts of 10 or more yards with 10. And he credits his teammates for his performance.
My teammates, offensive line, receivers blocking downfield, the mentality that we took into the game. I mean, it just came down to our mentality at the end of the day. You know, we took it as if we were playing one of the top teams in the nation. And at the end of the day, we knew we were a better team, and we knew that they couldn't hang with us, so we just went in there and did what we were supposed to do.
Coleman came out of the game in the third quarter and talked about wanting to see other players have some success on the ground.
I want to see my teammates get in there, and, you know, it's their turn. I wanted to see Adam get a touchdown or Jordan get a touchdown or, you know, even the young receivers that got in. And it was exciting seeing Kai score his first touchdown and stuff like that, you know. So I already did my part. We already did our part and stuff like that. So it was really time to celebrate my teammates.
8 of Washington's 10 touchdowns in this game came on the ground. Adam Muhammad had a score on 95 rushing yards with 14 carries. Kai Horton got his first snaps in a Husky uniform. He had a 10-yard rushing touchdown. Jordan Washington had 33 yards on 6 carries, and Denzel Williams rushed the ball 8 times for 64 yards and a touchdown. There was some unfortunate news in the Washington receiver room on Saturday night. Rashid Williams left the game with what appeared to be a shoulder or arm injury. He went into the locker room and returned to the sideline in street clothes with what looked like a sling around his left arm. Jedd Fisch said after the game that it didn't look good, but they'll know more on Sunday following an MRI. He expects Rashid to be out at least the next few weeks, but it was next man up in the wide receiver room. 10 different receivers caught a pass on Saturday night, including Dezmen, Roebuck, and Raiden. The 2 true freshmen were the leading receivers for Washington against UC Davis. Roebuck led the room with 4 catches for 77 yards. That included a 47-yard touchdown reception that he caught on a shovel pass from Denzel Williams. He took the pass towards the sideline before cutting back up the middle of the field, showing excellent open field vision. He weaved his way through the defense for a touchdown. Raiden Vinesbright had his first catch in a Husky uniform. It was also a shovel pass. It went for 7 yards, and just 3 plays later, he caught a 45-yard pass from Williams on a post route. That catch helped set up Jonah Coleman's second rushing touchdown of the evening. Denzel Boston had 50 yards on a team-high 5 receptions, and he had some positive things to say about those freshman receivers after the game.
You know, just explosion. You know, Raiden goes and makes an explosive play. We bring Dez in, and he also makes an explosive play. These cats are explosive, and it's going to add a new dimension to our offense.
But Boston's highlight play of the evening was not on offense. It was on special teams with under 2 minutes left in the second quarter. He returned a punt 78 yards for a touchdown. It was the first punt return touchdown for Washington since Roma Dunze did it in 2023 against Cal. Boston fielded all but 1 punt in 2024. He fair caught 26 of them and returned just 12 for 80 total yards a season ago. Throughout last year and into this year, Jedd Fisch continued to reinforce that Boston is the best option at punt returner, and he proved that on Saturday night.
Yeah, you know, coming into the end of the half, it was on my mind. I was just telling myself I'm going to return this punt, you know what I mean? And I knew I had the ability, and I'm just glad I got to showcase it tonight. And, you know, I got to give that to God, just giving me that opportunity. And, you know, like I told them earlier, you know, I've always been about special teams. It's important to me. I built my career off special teams when I was a freshman, playing all 4 phases. So.
It was crazy because he called it. He said, I'm about to take it regardless of, you know, how close they are, and I'm going to score a touchdown. So just to see that confidence that he has when he does things like that, that's what makes him special. So I'm excited for him, and I think that was the first punt return touchdown since like the 23 season. So excited to get a score on special teams.
The offense reached 500 total yards for the second straight week, but it did so in just 3 quarters in this game. Washington finished with 628 total yards, including 304 passing yards. 254 of those came from Denzel Williams Jr. He was 16 of 25 with a touchdown. Kai Horton had 50 passing yards of his own. He finished 3 of 5 on the evening. Denzel Williams in the run game was his most electric phase against UC Davis. He had 8 carries in the game for 64 yards. He was not sacked once, and 5 of his 8 carries were classified as explosive runs of 10 or more yards. He made the UC Davis secondary look like a JV football team with the way he was able to make defenders miss all night. Defensively, Washington allowed less than 220 yards on the game. They forced 6 punts and 4 3-and-outs. Zach Durfee, Jacob Lane, and Isaiah Ward each had a sack. And Sicario Davis had an interception where he had to be helped off the field after the play, but Jedd Fisch said he was fine after the game, not concerned. But both of the scoring drives for UC Davis were aided by mistakes from the Washington defense. Their first scoring drive was a field goal, and it was a 15-yard roughing the passer penalty that added to that drive. And running back Carter Vargas had a 35-yard run on that drive. He's number 1 here. There were 3 missed tackles from the Husky defense on that play. The Davis touchdown drive went 65 yards. Tight end Mitchell Dixon had a 17-yard reception on that drive, the longest of the drive, but it was aided by a defensive holding penalty for 10 yards and a defensive pass interference for 15 yards. But outside of those mistakes, the Washington defense held UC Davis to just 76 rushing yards, and Caden Pinnock, the quarterback who was named FCS Freshman of the Week a week ago, was just 8 of 16 for 50 passing yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. It was a record-breaking evening for UC Davis safety Rex Connors. He recorded 8 tackles in this game, which gave him 291 career tackles for UC Davis in his career. That's the all-time school record. Cole Batson had a team-high 11 tackles in this game for UC Davis, and number 8, Nate Rachenna, had the team's only tackle for loss in the game, 4 total tackles for him. And here's some of what Jedd Fisch had to say after the 70-10 win over UC Davis.
Okay. Appreciate you all being here so late. And hopefully this is our latest game that we have the rest of the year. That'll be our goal. But that was a fun game for the University of Washington. I thought our crowd was great. Thought our crowd got loud. We had a couple false starts due to crowd noise, delayed game, and caused a timeout. So that was awesome. It was awesome to see our crowd get into this game. It's awesome to have a 22-game home win streak. Okay, so that's pretty cool. And now we're going to focus in on getting the Apple Cup back. But we're going to give these guys 24 hours to enjoy this game. We'll be back at it tomorrow. Okay, so they won't really have the real 24 hours, but they'll have about 16 hours to enjoy the win. And then we'll start preparing. We'll have a little practice tomorrow night, and then we're in bye week. So it gives us the extra week here to prepare for the next game. But really proud of the way we played tonight. I thought really overall as a team, we couldn't have done many things better than we did. Probably could have taken the ball away 1 or 2 more times. We had some chances. A couple penalties kept 2 drives alive. Outside of that, scoring on special teams, taking the ball away on defense, getting an amount of stops, keeping a team to under 225 yards. And then also the fact that on offense to be able to score on nine drives, 9 touchdowns. So excited about the team, excited about where we're at, and obviously I know it's time to start focusing in on trying to get that Apple Cup back.
Washington now heads into an early bye week at 2-0 before preparation begins for the Apple Cup in Pullman on September 20th.
You